Hello my wonderful viewers and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes! Today we are taking a look at the burning question of why exactly Mitch Williams had over 100 times the amount of data in his Gauntlet that Miko or 5 do. But first, do you like to laugh? Of course you do. You're here, aren't you? Do you want something that'll tide you over until this show gets its desperately deserved Season 3? Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data is a book of human absurdity. Imagine if in Alien Eyes all humans were either Miko or Ridley. Terrifying and unstoppable agents of chaos who happen to be really nice if you are looking for a companion to share a couch with at the end of a long hard day. That is the theme, and it is written and edited and just waiting to be printed and shipped to your eager glitch tech deprived hands. Check out the Indiegogo link below the video if you want to learn more. But back to this vital question. Why does Mitch have so much more data than any of the other tech stored on his Gauntlet? He has over 100 times more data than the Blueberries 5 and Miko. He has around 8 times more data than Hanish, who is the next highest level tech. Now, that is interesting because there have been various hints that other than Mitch himself, Hanish has the longest working history with Hinobi and the glitch techs. And Hanish is only 2 years younger than Mitch, so there's not that big a difference between them. Because the overall pattern seems to be that data goes up with the time served as a glitch tech and more active combat with more active combat styles. So, for instance, support or optimized techs like Zara have the lower tech data scores and more active techs like Hanish have higher scores. We know that Hanish at least tried to go the same route as Mitch in combat style at one point. Hanish didn't follow through with that, but that was because he disliked the responsibility and not because he didn't have the dedicated combat style. So it doesn't seem that simple years worked could explain the huge difference. That is, unless it simply does. For most video game XP scores follow an exponential curve rather than a linear one. A level 1 gamer will gather up XP in single digits and a level 10 gamer will gather up XP by the double digits, but depending on the level system, a level 80 will be gathering up XP by the thousands. It goes up very slowly and then goes up very quickly after that. Of course, the objectives get larger to compensate so that you don't have the level 80s winning everything left and right, but the XP score and therefore Mitch's Gauntlet data might be very well have leapt ahead in the 2-year difference between him and Hanish. Perhaps Hanish will see a similar data load when he is 18 and has been working another 2 years for the company. The final bit of evidence for the simple gaming logic exponential growth theory is that Miko and 5 outright tell Ridley that Mitch can get more XP than them because he is a higher level. So, there you have it. One tidy little theory that explains everything. No mystery to someone who understands how the law of diminishing returns affects the way that game score accomplishments are rated. But what did I say about tidy little boxes in this show? I don't trust them. Ridley. Mitch took immediate notice of Ridley when she came into his Hinobi store. He took her seriously and treated her like he did all the other glitch techs. When he thought her wins were legitimate, he respected that and her. When he discovered that she had cheated and was being ousted, he saved her, incidentally also saving Miko and 5 from having to wipe their friend as well, and released Ridley back out into the wild as it were. In doing this, he gained her gratitude. In I'm Mitch Williams, we see that he has 3 of Ridley's thumb drives that can be used to modify his siblings' toys into combat-worthy battle gear. Now, we don't know that if he's storing any of that data for those mods directly on his Gauntlet, as he did have the external thumb drives. But Mitch did have those mods that take up a lot of data space, as we saw in the episode New Recruit. So the extra data load could be the questionable mods he got from Ridley. However, Mitch did not seem at all disturbed when Inspector Barbara informed them that his Gauntlet was being downloaded to the main server and analyzed. So either Mitch had hidden the mods so well that corporate couldn't find him, or he just knows that corporate won't care. This of course raises the connected possibility that Mitch has been copy-pasting clones to up his XP. It seems like something that his very strict honor code would forbid, but Mitch does have a family to provide for, and he might bend the code a little to keep the Furious 4 in gear and snackosaurs. Then we have the truly mysterious third option. There is far less to suggest this one, but the clues that there are critical plot points that can't be ignored. Firstly, what was Bit doing in Mitch's van in episode 1? I didn't question it at the time. Everything in the show was new, and I just assumed that all the vans came equipped with a noob training robot. What a fool I was. There's only one Bit, and Phil loves him dearly. Added to this, Mitch hates being saddled with noobs, so I don't see him training noobs often enough to need a dedicated Bit bot. Mitch's van literally has no noobs printed on it. Why wasn't Phil freaking out over the missing Bit if he didn't know Bit was in Mitch's van? Why was Phil willing to let the central linchpin of the Hinobi Bailey's store gather dust in Mitch's van if he did know? It doesn't make sense. Secondly, you have 5's tourney wristband in the cabinet with Bit, as if they were shoved in there together. Why would Mitch keep such obvious proof of his guilt handy to be found by our beloved main characters? A question that they drop a neon green lampshade on in the middle of the first episode and apparently never reference again. Thirdly, why was it so hard for Mitch to remember Five's face when Miko and Five confronted him? At the time, I assumed it was a sign of Mitch's arrogance. He cares so little for everyone else that he couldn't be bothered to remember their faces, much less their names. What a fool I was. Not only do we know that Mitch cares more than he lets on, and that he is highly observant, but word of Dan Milano has confirmed the hint dropped by the line back to the alley you crawled out of. Mitch Williams personally drove Five and his grandparents back to their place of work. So why couldn't Mitch remember Five's precious little face? What does all this have to do with the third data theory, you ask? Good question, because here's my theory. After the tourney, someone mind-wiped Mitch and Phil. Maybe Inspector Barbara, maybe the mysterious tech spec, but someone mind-wiped them hard. However, Phil and Mitch were prepared for this eventuality. We know for sure that Phil has his backup memory stashed in Bit from the Brit Prime episode. We know that Bit was hidden very uncharacteristically in Mitch's van. Mitch is Phil's top most trusted glitch check, and as a known noob hater, he would be the last one suspected of harboring Bit to the noob trainer. So, if Phil knew that he was going to be mind-wiped, and that somebody was going to ransack the store looking for something, and Phil hid Bit away to preserve his memory files and trusted Mitch with his information, then Five's wristband starts to make a little sense too. If Mitch knew he was going to be reset when he got back to the store after dropping Five off, he would want a memory trigger, something that wouldn't stick out in a Hinobi van, but that would immediately stick out to Mitch so that Mitch would know something was off when he saw it. A Hinobi tourney bracelet that wasn't his own would trigger the memories nicely, except Five triggered the memories before the bracelet could. Remember what Mitch said when he first saw Five? I remember you, or something to that effect. The point was Mitch was trying to remember the face that had just traumatized him mere hours before. Someone reset Mitch between the time he parked the van back in the alley and the time Miko and Five found him just hours later. So what if that massive data is a hoarded memory file just like the one Phil keeps in Bit? If Mitch knew to keep Five's bracelet to reset his own memory, he could very well be keeping backup files like Phil. Against this theory is again the fact that Mitch just didn't react to seeing the data numbers up in front of everybody, although he did seem to be trying to cover up something in his attack on Fives and Miko. Perhaps Mitch just has a really good poker face, or perhaps he just doesn't remember what is in his gauntlet or why it might be important. So, there you have the three theories. 1, that the level of data is just the normal exponential growth of a glitch tech of Mitch's years. 2, the data is Ridley clones and mods. 3, Mitch is keeping a secret backup file just like Phil was because Hinobi does mind-wiping habits. And the beauty of this setup is that any or all of these might be the explanation. In fact, the first one is basically given. Mitch would have the largest data file due to his seniority and hunting habits. We know he does have Ridley mods by this point, so the only question on that one is if he has the chutzpah to store illegal mods on his gauntlet where they could be found by corporate. Finally, it makes perfect sense that he would be helping Phil with this little side project. We just won't know for sure till season 3. So, what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Leave a like below and a comment telling me which of these 3 theories you favor. Check out the link for a copy of my book of human absurdity, Humans Are Weird. I have the data. Peace out, my wonderful viewers.